Hey everybody. So I am continuing to work on moving the code over from the. Oh, it's because this light is on. It makes me look so dark. It's kind of funny because a while back I was working on an animation and I had like two lights and I was like, does it really when you have two lights on both sides, does it make the little thing in real life actually darker, like right behind? Because I sort of had a mesh up here, the two lights up here, and then when I went from two lights to one light, it wasn't nearly as dark, and that was weird because it's like, why would a light make things something more dark? It's kind of strange, um, but it actually is that way because I'm kind of like that. I have a light there and a light there, and when that light is on, I'm more dark where I'm sitting, which doesn't make sense to me in the way, when I'm thinking about the way light works, but it obviously in practice works that way. But, anyways, so yeah, it's kind of boring times. It's going to stay boring for a little while as I start to move things over. I know found myself kind of making small iterative changes and then making commits, and I know that I normally do it something like a re whenever I do something like this, I generally do it that way. And the reason is because there's just a guarantee that some thing is going to break, and it's so nice to be able to just go back like to small changes and figure out which small change actually caused the breakage. Because at the end of this refactor, I want it to work exactly the way it worked before, and if it stops working the way it worked before, it's nice to be able to, like, if you have one giant commit, like there's no way to know what part of your huge refactor broke it. But if you have 20 small commits, and you would obviously want to do this on like a separate branch and then smush all those commits together into one. Um, but yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I never realized why I did it, but now I get that. So for this, basically what I have is a ground mesh. So if I go over to meshes, I've got a ground mesh, and then I've got the left, right, middle, and so none of them are animated. And then I have the ball mesh, which is in fact animated. And so the ball, if you look over here in the animation listings, um, at the X position, um, goes from -4 to -4, and so does the camera. Um, and it was interesting because I know I spent a lot of time getting the look at to be animated. So I changed the look at so that it goes from -5 to 5. Um, so basically the exact same as the ball. But like, let's see what happens in the default behavior where I have it just always looking at the origin. Like you can't really tell what is moving. You can't tell if it's the only reason you can kind of tell is the way the shadows go. But you have to understand where the light is, and it isn't necessarily obvious where the light is. So we have a light sitting at 0, 2, and 0. So I'm going to add a mesh indicator for that. So my new thing, light, and lights will sit. It's sitting at 2 on the Y, and then I don't know what just happened. Um, let's see. Oh, because it's blocking out the whole thing. And then, so the light, okay, so what's happening right now is the light is sitting inside this cube. And so none of the light is escaping the cube. Um, so what I need to do, what I can do, what I have found that works is change this to a sphere and then make it point 0.1. Okay, so now the light's no longer. But that is where the light is sitting. So let's see if we change it to 1 here. So the light hasn't changed, and it's actually casting a shadow now. But now if I move the light to 1, so the shadows are bigger and all that. So you can kind of tell, like, what is static and what isn't, but it's still kind of like not obvious. But then if I change the camera look at to always stay with the ball um, instead of basically staying with it, so basically the camera is moving along the side with it, I think it's very clear what is moving and what is not moving, and that's cool. So as far as the code, it's nothing too exciting. Basically, I took the Three.js this animation item, which basically lets the application know if we're paused, if it's running, if we're looping, um, what time we're at. So like I can hit paused, and now we're paused, and then um, right now I'm at 1.4 seconds. So that's what would be in here. Um, so I moved that over uh, to the animation service, and then just fixed anything that broke. It was super simple. Didn't take too long. Um, so yeah, and then basically the signal now signals out what's in the animation service, and let's go to the next thing. Uh, and then basically anything that was referring to it just needed to be updated to get it from the animation service and not from uh, as a local service level property. Um, Super simple. Definitely, just sort of an inch forward. Um, and then, so I'll commit this, and then I'll do the next thing, which I think is probably, believe I have animation pairs that are in here, and I would love to pull all the animation pairs stuff out of here. And then there's like, where are you? Yeah, animation pairs. So it signals out this animation pairs. So go to definition. This guy. So I would like to move this guy into the service, and then update anything that uses that, and then move all the utilities for the animation that adds, deletes, prunes the animation pairs. And I think that's about everything. There is a good bit of code inside the actual animation. Uh, where are you? There's like an animation uh, callback. So maybe some of the guts of this can get moved into the animation service, but I don't think I'll be able to move this actual call out of here. And the main reason I don't think I want to move this call out of here, I mean, I could move it, but I don't want to, is because reset clock, I think. Let me see. Go to yeah, I think reset clock can move out of here. But I kind of don't want to move the like the list of cameras. That needs to stay here. And I don't know if I want to pass that list of cameras to a function. But maybe I do. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But at this point, we did another, we popped off about 200 lines last time, or about 150 lines. And this time, let's see. So the last line of code now is, so we knocked off 7 lines, so not that much, but you know, like I said, when this is all over, I'll feel really good if the Three.js service is about, I don't know, 250 lines, and then like maybe the animation service. And that means when it's all over, that means when all of the different pieces are moved into their own little areas, this guy will probably be a good 300 lines or something like that. And I think that, anytime I'm doing anything with animations, I have one little area in Three.js service to look at, and if it's not in there, then it's going to be in this animation service. And I think that'll be a lot easier than trying to look throughout the whole Three.js service and find stuff. And then I'll be able to focus my brain on that. But that's about it for today. Like I said, I'm going to continue refactoring. Right after I get in the refactor of this, I'm going to update to Angular 18. I do think that Angular 18 is a pretty, like I was watching what's new and what I got out of it. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff, and I think they're moving in the right direction. But what I got out of it is, because they had mentioned, I'm going to pause this, they had mentioned that when you do an upgrade, they're going to default your configuration to support Zone.js. But I got the impression that if you build a brand new Angular 18 application, it won't be defaulted to Zone.js, which like is so like right now they're playing nice with Zone.js, just kind of like they're playing nice with our um, RxJS. But there's going to be a point when they aren't going to play nice with those. Like they're going to probably in the next couple years, you know, move from hey, we're happy with both sides to using either JS, Zone.js or or using two. Then they'll be like, it's okay. Zone.js is fine, but we prefer, and it would be important for you if you want performance and security and all the basic FUD sort of things that library makers like to do when they're trying to encourage you to upgrade. Um, they'll be like, we suggest that you move up, and then next thing you know, it's going to be like, oh man, all those old weird things, they just need to die. I don't know why people still support that. And then what'll happen is if you're the developer that did the upgrade, they're gonna be like, why did you set this default to false? And now our applications, since then we've built 20,000, 200,000 lines of code that depend on Zone.js, and you know, um, so yeah, I would just strongly suggest that if you're maintaining an application, that you move away from you move towards signals and you move away from Zone.js as fast as you can. I mean, obviously you can't get away from all that stuff right now. Um, definitely you can't use signals and forms yet, and it looks like maybe an Angular material. Um, and yeah, so it's something to worry about, something to take very, very seriously, I think, if you don't want to be sort of, the pirate's code is fall behind, get left behind. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.